Hey everybody, it's Matt and welcome back to Crypto Kings. In today's video, we're going to be talking about exactly what Shiba Inu has been doing, where I see the price going here within the next few days, and so much more. So if you guys are new, make sure to drop a like and subscribe for more daily SHIB vids, and let's get right into it, folks. So if you guys have not already seen what we have been essentially given here on the day, we are down around 2%, which isn't overly tragic, but we're definitely not in the price range that I think a lot of people were looking for. Market cap, around $18 billion, which is still so much more than SHIB was, say, a few months ago. But regardless, I know we definitely want to try to get that past 20. Volume has been surprisingly low over the past 24 hours. And when we check the historical sort of stats on previous days, the volume has been down like a lot, guys. I mean, we are watching multiple days in a row where under $1 billion has been traded on that particular day of Shiba Inu, which is just so low compared to some of these previous days where, it was always, almost always in the twos, threes, fours, $1 billion range. So definitely a major shock downwards. And the only time that I can remember seeing volume this low would be looking all the way back to like maybe September or something, where you guys can see, these numbers are much lower in September, where SHIB was kind of in a rut as well. So definitely not too hot in terms of the volume, but this isn't just Shiba Inu to blame. We actually have to take into account the entire market here, and there's so much to sort of look at when accounting for Bitcoin and Ethereum and all of that. But before we do, make sure to check out Webull, guys, down below in the description. If you guys like to get started trading stocks and crypto for the new year, of course, including Shiba Inu, which is available on there. So if you guys like to go over there for a limited time, Webull is giving away some free stocks, so make sure to check that out. Link down below in the description. If you guys use my link, I would greatly appreciate that. So when we take a look at all of the different cryptos in terms of market cap, there's something to consider, and that is the fact that Shiba Inu is very, very responsive to what Bitcoin is doing. And Bitcoin has not been performing particularly hot. We are at around 46,000, which is getting near where we want to see some support here. And again, hopefully we don't see a dip here below 45, because to be honest with you, 45,000 is pretty much where the sort of train should stop, because over the past 3 months, you guys can see we've just been absolutely soaring, and even on our lower days, it appears that nobody wants to let Bitcoin get below $45,000. So every time we watch this slip, in the 45, 46 range, it gets a little bit unnerving. Now, how does this matter for Shiba Inu? Well, SHIB is very, very reactive to what Bitcoin does these days, and that's because Shiba Inu right now is in a period of consolidation. So SHIB right now, to be honest with you, is not doing a whole lot, and the best way to sort of gauge this is to take the very volatile fluctuations in movement, which you guys can see from late October to early-ish December. We have these very, very volatile fluctuations in price movement, and that has recently changed to become a very stale, very flat sort of movement all the way from like the beginning of December, to be honest with you. We haven't moved from 32 to 38. It's been pretty much a dead lock in that frame. And if we get rid of some of this little flash crash here on the 20th, if we are to ignore that and stay with where the average price has been for the majority of these days, you guys can see really it's been between 32 and 38 and it hasn't moved. So what does that mean for us? Where do we go now? Etc., etc., etc. Well, again, we're going to check some factors and hope that we can get a little bit of information about this. The first thing, of course, you guys know I'd love to check the relative strength index, which you guys can see is going to account for what we're doing here on the day. So right now with the relative strength index, we're creeping down near the 30 mark, and once it does that, it heads down to around 32 in the price for SHIB. So right now we're creeping down there again, meaning that the lowest SHIB is probably going to go without having some really, really volatile, crash or whatever. The lowest that's probably going to go here on the day is around 32. But ideally, what we would like to see, and this is typically what you want to happen, is to have some kind of divergence or an RSI divergence. Now, an RSI divergence is something that's very, very popular. And when we take a look at how this works in terms of a definition, you guys can see that the relative strength index divergence is basically when the price shows lower highs price when the price uptrend hits higher highs. So if we were to take a look at an example of this, they are referring to this, of course, in the term of the stock market. But when we take a look at some images for something like this, ideally you are watching the relative strength index here is going to head up a little bit as the price is going to head up. So this is what a typical bullish situation would look like, where the relative strength index is heading up a little bit and the price is heading downwards. So that is something we're going to be looking for. There are a bunch of different symbols, and I do encourage you guys to kind of learn something like this when dealing with Shiba Inu, because we do have a bunch of different bullish and bearish marks. But the main one I'm looking at is something like this, where the price of the asset is headed down and the relative strength index is moving up. That's essentially creating kind of a symmetrical wedge, if you were to call it that. And when something like this happens, it typically does lead to a bullish breakout. So that's definitely something that we're going to want to look for when we take a look at this graph. Again, we want to watch ideally the price actually heading down with the relative strength index heading up. So unfortunately, we have not been seeing something like that happening. If we did, we'd probably watch the relative strength index, do something like this, headed upwards, and then the price would maybe head downwards, and that typically leads to a bullish move. So definitely do keep that in mind when looking at the relative strength index in the future. Now, take a look at the Fibonacci Retracement, which I also love to check. You guys can see this is going to outline the top and bottom of the most recent run. So you guys see we start at around 34 and change, and then we head down to around 32. And what this is really showing is, of course, the fact that when we head up to around this sort of mid-level here at around 33-ish, it is rejected and unfortunately heads down below the 23.6% line. So this line is getting rejected, and we are going to, I believe, retest the 32 line. So ideally, we want to stay at least above the 32 line so we don't fall below where the Fibonacci retracement, is predicting we shouldn't fall. So definitely do want to stay above there in as many ways possible. So all around, guys, again, I don't think things are that bad for SHIB, because the entire market has kind of been stalling, and that's what happens typically when you're in kind of a deadlock like this. And really, this does just really look like a long period of consolidation when you kind of zoom out and look at the big picture from December up until now. This really just looks like a long period of consolidation, and I don't think it is something worth worrying about, nor do I believe Shiba Inu is going to head much lower than this, because it's been around this price range for a long time. So I get a lot of comments saying, oh my god, SHIB's going to zero, it's worth nothing. Don't think so, because it's been hanging out around this price for a long time. This is already above some key support levels that SHIB established in previous runs, like from early October. We are looking at some previously established support levels that, I don't think are going to just evaporate overnight. And with that being said, guys, I hope you all have enjoyed. If you guys did, make sure to drop a like and subscribe for more Shiba Inu videos coming every single day. Make sure to check out Webull, link down below for your free stocks, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace.